A transferred love. Uptown on the west side of Manhattan is an unoccupied brick house standing back from the street. This was the home of a young physician who, with his wife, had been drawn to New York in the hope of acquiring such a practice as his gifts would appear to warrant. For he was a man of good presence, well-bred, skilled in his vocation, and needing only a chance to make fame and fortune. But the chance did not come. The little he had saved was soon absorbed by rent and house expenses, and the two found themselves confronted by actual penury. When affairs were at their worst, an evil providence put wealth in their reach. It came as an orphan who had nearly lost her sight. Though friendless, she was heir to a large sum that would become hers on the attainment of her majority, only a year away. Her case required frequent treatment and good nursing, and when it was found that liberal payments could be made for these services, the doctor persuaded her to go home with him, that he might study her case more closely and give kindly nursing. She was thankful she had found a protector at last. Her health promised an early demise. The physician and his wife had consulted long before taking this step. They loved one another, even though poverty had entered the home and made life bitter for them. But a mutual sacrifice would ensure for their future such a provision as they had never dared to hope. It was a bold thing they resolved to do. It was conspiracy. It was violation of the law. Yet it was so easy, and it promised so well. The wife was to represent herself as the physician's sister. She was to help her husband to commit bigamy in marrying him to this half-blind and dying girl, and she was to keep house for them until death relieved them of the incubus and put the fortune into their hands. The plan worked with surprising ease. Whatever the wife may have felt when she heard her husband promise to love and cherish this frail rival and saw him slip her ring on the finger of the bride, she held her peace in company. In order to impress the trustee of the girl's estate with the integrity of his efforts on her behalf, the physician took her on a wedding trip to the West Indies, believing, as he said, that it would restore her health. Before sailing, he bought that house in New York with her money and installed wife number one there to await their return. The trip lasted longer than any had expected, and the woman, alone in the old brick house, often paced up and down the rooms in agitation of mind. The baggage was taking a good while a dyin', she thought. It would have been better had she been kept at the north and killed with another of our raw winters. But word came at last that the happy pair would be at home on a certain date, and the house was put in order for their reception. The sister had freely spent all of the bride's money she could gain, and the house had become inviting. They reached the home, that husband and wife, and the sister's face grew gray, and her heart beat in pain, for she saw that the new wife was better loved than ever the first one had been, and that the voyage and the care had completely restored her health. Instead of a pallid, weak, dim-sighted girl, her rival was now a pretty, smiling, graceful, altogether attractive creature, clear of eye, merry in her laughter, and supremely happy. Well, the comedy must be played to its end. The sister received the couple with every token of solicitude and affection, and a delightful little dinner was served in the cozy dining room. The husband was alternately gay and moody, and he drank more wine than was quite meet. Filling 3 glasses, he bade the women drink with him to health and long life. The watchful sister had seen the quick motion by which something had been dropped into the glass he passed to her. But without ceasing to smile, she drank half of it. Then, under pretense of removing a dish, she managed, unknown to him, to exchange glasses with her brother, for his own glass now held the same amount as hers. "You do not drink," she declared. "You neglect your wife." "To the bride." The physician tossed down the half-glass of poisoned liquor. Then the wife, rising with an uncertain motion, her face drawn, her lips blue and shaking, her eyes staring, caught him about the neck. "At last," she cried, "you are mine again. Mine! Mine! And death." The servant hurried for a doctor, but it was too late. Husband and wife were buried together. Shocked out of her sanity, the bride had to gain health anew in a retreat. The house was rented to several tenants, but none of them would stay, for they reported disturbances in the night, and one man said that he heard a failing cry, as in some remote room, of "Mine."